Will someone buy your artwork? I have had artwork sent to me over the years. People asking me, Michelle, do you think this will sell? Michelle, will someone buy this? Really, will anyone buy my artwork? And I know people just want reassurance. They just want someone to say, yeah, absolutely. Yes, your work can sell. That's what I want to talk about in today's episode, whether work can sell or not and how to know. So, one thing I know to be true, when I first started United Art Space years ago, and I had this dream to help artists and help people make a living and help people connect from around the world. And one of the things that I noticed at the beginning, when I didn't really know much about the art world, this was going back 10 years ago now, um, was I did sometimes have opinions, and sometimes I would look at people's artwork and think, don't think you're going to sell that. And they went on and sold it. And time again, I would see things and think, oh, don't think that will sell. And it sells. And then what I started to learn over the years, having worked in this industry for many, many years now, and read so many stories and seen the evidence, is that anything can sell. And it really can. I've seen so many different types of artwork sell. It boggles my mind. What I've realised, and this is what I believe, there is a place for everybody in the art world. I really, truly believe that there is a place for everybody. I have never come across anything in particular that you think that categorically, no, that just won't sell, because art is so subjective. There are so many people in the world. It's crazy. And so also the danger when you ask somebody, will this sell? When you're asking that opinion of someone, and likely sometimes they might say, no, your artwork will never sell. I don't believe there is anybody in the world that understands the buying habits of the billions of people we have habiting our planet. So when you ask someone an opinion on whether they think your art will sell, that is just their opinion. If you go to a gallery and ask the gallery, do you think this artwork will sell? It is their opinion. It's a subjective opinion. They do not understand the whole world art market. Nobody does. So it's a dangerous place to be when you take 1, 2, 3 people's opinion and base that on the future of your art, because that is just their opinion. Now, the gallery will be speaking from their opinion, and maybe they can't sell it. Quite often, if you go to a gallery and they reject you, it's because they don't have the client base. They don't have your who. They don't have access to your people. Maybe then don't feel connected to your artwork. And to sell it, they need to feel that connection to your artwork. So they are saying, no, I can't sell it. Ashley Longshore is a really, really successful artist. You can go and look Ashley Longshore up on Instagram. I remember reading years and years ago, Ashley Longshore was rejected repeatedly over a period, I believe, of 10 to 15 years, going to gallery after gallery after gallery, being spoken to in a very, very rude and derogatory way, told that her artwork was rubbish, her art would never sell, it was not commercial, you're never going to have a career as an artist. These were the things that she was told over and over and over again. But she did not give up. She ended up creating her own Instagram account. She ended up finding her own way to her people without having to go through galleries, without having to go through the people who have access to people. And Ashley Longshore now is a super successful artist that sells work for tens of thousands of dollars. Her work has been exhibited and shown and bought by massive big retailers in the USA. It's phenomenal, the success that she has had. She was told for 15 years that she would never sell. So this is a great example of sometimes we can be so disillusioned when someone gives us their opinion and says, you're never going to sell that. I see this happen a lot amongst families and friends. So a lot of artists that I've worked with that have different styles, maybe they have a landscape style and a pet portrait style and maybe an abstract style, and you're in that stage of playing around with different voices. And you might have a family member that will look at your artwork and say that's the one that's going to sell. Why are you bothering with this abstract work? It's just, no one's going to buy that. And again, that is just their opinion, and you have to be really careful where you take advice from, because especially someone that isn't an artist or isn't an art buyer, they're not really qualified to tell you that that artwork will sell or not sell. It's their opinion. So I find this topic fascinating. I love talking about it because over the years, when I think back to when I was at art school and just actually since doing this job, like I said at the beginning, I've seen so many different types of artwork sell. And also I get people in their own head saying, oh, I want to explore this, but I just don't see who's going to buy this. And I remember at my art school, one of my lecturers sold a Pritt stick. A Pritt stick is a glue stick. It's a brand of glue stick, and it was a glue stick stuck to the wall, and it had a metal rod going through it, and it was screwed into the wall. So it looked like the glue stick was defying the laws of gravity. And I remember him selling that for thousands, that concept. But I bet when he was playing around with a glue stick and sticking it on the wall, he wasn't thinking, oh, I shouldn't do this because who's going to buy it? One of the big parts of being an artist is you creating work that really, really lights you up, that really gets you excited and curious. One of our members, Carol's having a solo show right now as I record this episode. And I remember Carol having this idea for a collection of work a long time ago to paint hands. And she's painted hands in so many different ways, showing how hands, on a musical instrument in everyday life, and really telling the story of each piece. It's a phenomenal exhibition. But I remember years ago, or not years ago, but a while ago, Carol worried and said, but who would buy a picture of somebody else's hands? And we have to be careful not to fall into that trap of thinking there's no point doing this work because who will buy it? It really has to come from you. It has to get you excited. So don't fall into that trap, because quite often there is a way of getting your work out into the world. If you stop yourself because you think it won't sell, you're doing yourself a massive disservice. There is a non-negotiable part of being an artist, and that is your why. It's what makes you you. It's what makes you curious. It's that curiosity. If you've got a curiosity of putting a glue stick on the wall and trying to portray that it's actually just stuck to the wall and defying the laws of gravity, then go for it. It's so easy to follow the crowd and see what other people are doing and think, well, that sells, that I should maybe do more of that kind of artwork. That seems to be working. It's a horrible trap to fall into. So first of all, the non-negotiable part of being an artist is that part of you. And then the negotiable part is once you find what it is that really makes you tick and you're finding your voice and you're onto something, the negotiable part of being an artist then is maybe changing the scale to fit an audience. You can make your work more sellable by maybe changing colours or maybe changing a subject matter. So you're not taken away from your core reason of being an artist or what it is that really lights you up, but you adapt things to fit. So you're not changing who you are, but you're adapting the work slightly. And so when it goes back to whether someone will buy an artwork, there is only one way to find out, and that is to really tap into who you are, make art that really excites you. And then on the 1st of September, we have workshops to help you start to figure out where you can put that work. Because once you light that part of yourself, once you light that fire, and you're making artwork from you and not to fit other people and not to please other people, that's when you're in that place, that's when you can start to really think, okay, who's going to be interested in this? Where can I start to put this work? How do I talk about it? What does this work mean? How does it impact other people? How does it impact me? And these could be really scary questions, which is why I love hosting. Every year I host a big workshop where we come together as a group and we start to explore these questions together. And it's so exciting. And everyone from around the world who takes part in this, and you're probably listening and you've taken part, you may be listening and you haven't. We always come together as a group, and it's so amazing to touch base on this, because it starts to get us excited about the potential, and it starts to light that fire again of getting our work out into the world. So, will your artwork sell? There's only one way to find out, and that is to make it and get it out there, because no one can sit here and tell you whether it can or can't sell. There are factors. One of them is the why, you making artwork that really lights you up. And then the next bit is finding the right people and finding people that connect with it, and it having a purpose. And that's it in its simplest form. So, also to add very quickly before I wrap up, one of the other things that I hear people say is, I just don't think people want my artwork. I see a lot of realistic work selling. My work is too dark. It's quite mystical. Or I see abstract work selling. Mine's really, really realistic. I just don't think it's going to sell. This is you seeing the world through your own lens. So if you start to see abstract artwork everywhere and you're noticing it selling, and you go to the local exhibition and there's abstract work there, you start to think, you start to think that that's the only work that sells in the world. But the world is massive, and quite often there are so many different types of artwork being sold all over the place. It's just that you're not seeing it. And actually, when you start to understand what type of artist you are, you can actually go and look for evidence that that artwork is selling. Because, like I said earlier, every type of artwork sells. Be careful not to judge what you're seeing and basing that on, that's the way the world is working. That's what everybody wants. Everybody wants pet portraits, or everybody wants this. It's just simply not the case. It's your view right in this moment. So just be careful of that. Try not to derail yourself because you've convinced yourself that your type of art will never sell. So I'm excited to start these workshops on the 1st of September, because this is what we're going to get really, really involved with over 2 weeks together. So if you're interested in taking part, the link will be in the show notes. You can sign up. And that's it. So get your work out there. That's the only way you're going to know if it's going to sell or not. Take care, and I'll chat to you soon.